Live on 23 Ghana on Facebook, DCEs channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. We are at a critical time when Galamsey is back and it's happening in the full glare of the public. No more undercover. Our water bodies are being destroyed, and the treatment plants of the Ghana Water Company Limited is breaking down as a result of Galamsey activities. Look, they are asking for an increase in tariffs, water tariffs for you and I to pay, which has been approved. One of the reasons being the destruction of their treatment plants by Galamsey operators because of the high volumes of pollution. Now, so how do we deal with this? Okay, we are all affected. Alhaji Fuseini is a former minister of lands and natural resources in this country. He joins me in the studio. Alhaji, thank you for joining us on Ghana Tonight.
Thank you so very much.
So, when the president made this bold statement of putting his presidency on the line with regards to this fight against illegal mining, was followed by a 2-year ban. I mean, we saw some progress with the improvement in the level of purity of our water bodies and then the preservation of our forests.
Well, so first of all, let's understand certain things. The president's statement to the effect that he was ready to put his presidency on the line was grandstanding. Galamsey has really never gone away. Galamsey has always been with us. In periods during my time, after my time, when they came in, there was some mitigating, there was some reduction in activities, but really never gone away. 3, what the president said and the policy that was being implemented to stem the tide of Galamsey was a mismatch.
As in putting his presidency on the line, and then the 2-year ban, and now we had the Operation Hawk 1 and 2, and then we also had the Operation Vanguard. In fact, yes, the Operation Vanguard was the first.
Yes.
What was the mismatch in the policy?
Was, first of all, when a president says he's putting his presidency on the line, it means he's prepared to take any action, drastic or otherwise, to deal with the situation. It means if his officers are complicit, he will deal with them. It means he's going to charge officers of his administration, district chief executives, the police, the security services, everybody concerned with the security of this country to be interested and involved in the fight. Did you see that?
Well, we saw some...
No. You didn't. There was nothing like that. So when the president...
There was a committee that was established.
Good.
That was leading the operations, the Vanguard and the Hawk. The ministry that you headed as Minister of Lands and Natural Resources was charged with that responsibility.
So when
DCEs, MCs were called upon.
To do what?
But as to whether they did their job of ensuring that within their areas they were able to also ensure the fight against Galamsey was being won, it's another matter altogether. Yes.
I can't say. You see, when political leaders talk, we have a duty to unpack their speech and start marking them. It will be foolish of us as a people to take what our leaders say hook, line, and sinker. Galamsey is a local activity. So you need a champion. Your district chief executives must be tasked with the responsibility of stopping it. It must be a key performance indicator. Ashanti Hini said recently that government knows the people behind Galamsey.
Yes, he said it. I mean, this was at a Galamsey conference. That the people gathered there. And I'm going to play that video.
So it's common knowledge. In fact, recent events convinces me beyond doubt that there's official complicity in the fight against Galamsey.
What are these recent events you're referring to?
Well, we just read 2 days ago that a deputy minister of Lands and Natural Resources has gone on to the Orphan River and has destroyed 838 champagne machines. 838. You know the Orphan River? Around Dimfa on Orphan.
Yes.
Flows to Chechere. 838. The question to ask is, you mean the district chief executive had no idea, had no knowledge, had no information that champagne machines were under Orphan?
Considering the numbers, that's 838 champagnes on the Orphan River. Your point is that if there was that number of champagnes, that's illegal miners doing business, there's no way the DC or the MC in the area, if he was serious about fighting corruption, BNI,
the mines inspector in the
illegal
area,
mining.
because it's an illegal activity. I mean, you can't put any device, any construction on the water body without permission from the EPA and the water, we call it the Water Resources Council or something like that. You can't put anything on that water body. In fact, it's illegal to mine on the water body. It's even illegal to mine 100 meters to a water body. And for a water body to contain as many as 838, and you say that there's no official complicity? In fact, during my time when we did the operation clean small-scale size of illegalities, 5 champagne machines were found on the River Orphan when I visited.
This same Orphan River?
5.
Which 838?
5 were found on the Orphan River.
Your time, 5 were found?
I visited Chichere and we went to the Orphan River. I saw 5. Alfred, that cost the district chief executive his office.
So during your tenure, the DCE in that area was sacked because 5 champagnes were found on the Orphan River.
Because you couldn't miss. You couldn't miss it. I mean, as a DCE, you ought to know that 1, the president and government was against illegal activity. 2, that you can mine on a water body, you ought to know that. 3, the champagnes were there, you could see them, and as a DC, you ought to have been visiting the water bodies and ensuring or partnering government in the fight against illegal mining.
So you make the point that you want the local authorities to be answering questions. Is that the DC or the MC? They should have been sacked by now.
By now. They should have been gone by now. They should have been gone by now if the president were committed. The land minister should be answering questions because we've wasted a lot of resources. We brought in speedboats. We said we were cleaning the water bodies. Orphan is a water body. How come that the speedboats were not there? When did they realize that the Orphan River was populated with champagnes? How did it come to his attention? They should be answering questions. The minister himself should be answering questions. It's just not enough to go and destroy champagne machines. It's not enough. You see, people don't understand. The fight against illegal small-scale mining must be said that you put people in positions with the clear understanding that this act cannot be tolerated. Because it compromises the future of the country.
Tell me, how do these champagne machines get into the country? Because as far as I know, I interacted with a Galamsey operator in the Etiwa forest, and most of these champagne machines come from China, right?
Initially, they came from China, but now they are being manufactured even locally here.
The champagnes are being manufactured
locally here. Initially, they came from China. The Chinese brought them. But now they no longer bring in champagne machines. They just take drums and others and vacuums in the drums so that it can float and all. They might forget them here.
What did we miss in all this fight against Galamsey? Because, look, we are all affected. Because if you're looking at how it's impacting on the water bodies, and Ghana Water is saying they have to now spend more money to treat the water that we drink or have in our taps. And then also in some areas, in the central region, for instance, Ghana Water said they have to add more chemicals to be able to purify the water because of the level of pollution as a result of Galamsey.
Tepidity. The water is so muddy now because they're washing the sand back into the water. And so the water is very unclear. People have just put their personal interests above the interests of the state. And leaders that we have elected just sit unconcerned.
What can be done? Because you've been there. I recall during your tenure, you had thousands of Chinese nationals repatriated for their involvement in this illegal mining, Galamsey.
So, first of all, during my time, I was very clear in my mind that the first option open to me as minister and head of the task force was to implement the law, to enforce the law. And the law prevents, forbids, prohibits foreigners from engaging in in small-scale mining. So first matters were to get all foreigners out of the mining sites.
So finally, what role does the government, the chiefs, the DCEs, as the local authorities, have to play in all of this? I just want us to trace the chain of responsibility because, look, it's not looking good.
Let me give you the Etiwa forest as an example. Why local communities should be involved in this matter. You know, Etiwa, the number of people that depend on Etiwa for their sustenance and livelihood is huge. Yes. People have been educated just by harvesting wild snails from Etiwa.
It actually serves about 5 million Ghanaians, the sources of water, the Etiwa forest.
Good.
So
Etiwa is a forest that has been declared a globally significant area. Meanwhile, there's illegal logging and there is illegal mining going on. Don't you see official complicity? Because if you cut a tree, you can't just move the tree anyhow out of the forest. It has to follow a road. So maybe people don't see vehicles leaving the forest with locks.
they do.
They do. So why are they not able to do anything? Why have they been paralyzed? It's because big people, the chiefs.
Alhaji Fuseini, thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
On Ghana Tonight. Alhaji Fuseini is a former minister.